With the announcement to build their own metaverse, Facebook, and now renamed into Meta, has sparked an ongoing trend of building metaverses that we have already seen in the crypto spaces. Shortly after that, and announced today, other big players have joined the space and are getting themselves into position to compete with Facebook. In this video, we are going to take a deep dive into the topic metaverse, and in the end, we will find some insights into where it is, in my opinion, worth investing. Hey guys, it's the PatientHodler coming at you, and before we start, please keep in mind that I'm a crypto and NFT investor, but not a financial advisor, so please do your own research before you ape into all the good metaverse projects out there. Also, if you like this type of content, please leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments below what you think about the current metaverse trend. Now with that out of the way, let's get started. Just to give you a quick breakdown of the topics that are awaiting you in this video, we are going to quickly discuss what a metaverse is, and then we are going into the topics centralization and decentralization, the role of blockchain and NFT in metaverses, real metaverse projects. We are going to look at some. Is the metaverse good or bad? Because there are many videos out there discussing dystopian theories about the metaverse. Then we are going to talk about metaverse as an investment opportunity. And in the end, I want to show you a metaverse gem. There are many definitions of metaverse out there, and some describe it only as virtual worlds that are interconnected and that you can walk through with an avatar on your PC screen. But there is also more the definition that a real metaverse is a virtual room which is displayed on your physical 3D world, and where you can move with the adequate equipment to meet other people and have a 3D experience. So metaverse, in the sense that we are going to use, is basically all of this, starting from the metaverses that we know right now that we still have to experience on our screen, but with the ongoing development of goggles, gloves that enable us to experience 3D worlds where we can really have the feeling that we are moving through these worlds and that we have sensual stimulus. That is also part of a metaverse. And probably what we are seeing right now is comparable to the early PC games that were just pixels. And probably what we are seeing right now is comparable to the old PC games, which were two-dimensional, full of pixels, or the workspaces that were nothing more than some lines of text in the first chats. And now we can see to what we have evolved to. As mentioned before, the announcement of Facebook to build its own metaverse with around 10,000 employees working on it in Europe has already forced a lot of companies to declare their ambitions to go into a metaverse, to participate in a metaverse, or to build their own metaverse as well. Now, breaking news from today, January the 18th, is that Microsoft has acquired Activision Blizzard to bring the joy and community of gaming to everyone. Sounds like they are going to expand their gaming section at Microsoft, but it is way more. As we can read here, it says gaming is the most dynamic and exciting category in entertainment across all platforms today and will play a key role in the development of metaverse platforms, said Satya Nadella, chairman and CEO of Microsoft. So they are being serious, and they have paid an immense amount to acquire Activision Blizzard. Now this is not a small player. As we can see with this gigantic purchase, Microsoft has acquired some of the most popular games out there, such as Call of Duty, StarCraft, and especially World of Warcraft when we are talking about metaverses, because Blizzard has created somewhat of a massive experience in a virtual world with World of Warcraft that has integrated already a feeling of being able to develop a character, play an endless storyline, and many people around the planet, I think at its peak it was 14 million active players, have put days and some even years into that game, playing day after day and 8 to 16 hours a day. But Microsoft is not the only one. As we can see, Walmart also plans to enter the metaverse with crypto and NFTs, and we come to that part in a moment. As we can see here, this news is from yesterday, and I will link both of the articles below so you can fully read them, but I just want to cite some lines from this article so you get an idea what it's about. Walmart, if I recall it right, wants to build stores in metaverses like Decentraland. It says here, another filing details the possibility of a virtual reality game or online retail service featuring a marketplace of digital goods authenticated by NFTs. These goods could range from home appliances to sports goods, beauty products, furniture, and musical instruments, all listed in the trademark application. So we have some really big players that either want to establish a metaverse to call people into it, or that want to participate in a certain metaverse. And we have seen that already, that brands have entered metaverses that are now just starting, like Decentraland and Sandbox, and that they are trying to reach those people that are already in these games. And if we recall that 14 million people played Blizzard's World of Warcraft, which cost $15 a month, then we can expect that there are way more people entering the most popular and winning metaverse in the future. And we don't know which one it will be, and probably it will be one that we have not seen so much of yet, but we will come to that later. Now the big question is, do we want to spend our time in a metaverse that is owned by one company and that is provided by only one company, and that we don't have control over certain things and participation? And this is the big question of centralization and decentralization. And the centralization aspect has dominated the last century, while the decentralization came mostly with the crypto space, because suddenly it was possible to have utility chains that you can buy a share of and that you can build on without being excluded or having to ask for a certain permission. So usually it is enough to build something on open source codes that are being provided, and then build your own product on it and pay for it in terms of gas fees, which rewards the holders of the initial tokens of the other projects, also by lockups. What you need to know until now is that there is the option to have metaverses that are decentralized and where you can build a shop, a store, even if you are Walmart or if you are a single person. The only thing that you have to do in those metaverses is buy land and build on it. You can also sell your land or rent your land in those metaverses, and no one will be able to exclude you. On the other hand, we have companies like Facebook and now Microsoft that want to build out metaverses where we don't know to which degree things are decentralized and if we have control over the things we do. If not, it is more like a PC game. Let's just think this through with World of Warcraft. If you have played a lot and you have earned your loot from the bosses and you have competed with 40 people in the raid to be able to loot this epic sword, do you think this sword really belongs to you? Yes, you have the feeling once you're playing, but honestly, you cannot take it out of the game and sell it to someone else. Yes, you could basically sell it on eBay and then transfer it on your server, but you just could not transfer it to another server. Also, if you stop paying you basically lose access to everything you have. That means you are technically only renting your character, your armor, and all the progress that you have made within that virtual world. If Facebook and Microsoft are going into that direction, they will be not much different than a ordinary computer game. Now what comes into play here are NFTs, and NFTs are around since 2017, where some pixel figures were minted and some of those are worth millions today. But there's also a lot of crap and some JPEG-like things that a 3-year-old could have drawn out there. But anyways, the idea of NFTs is another. The idea of NFTs is that you have a token on which a unique collectible artwork, sword, armor piece, character is basically minted with all its unique identifiers, and this in a way that it can be integrated into other games, metaverse spaces, and that you can send it from one wallet into another. In short, it grants you, by holding one specific token that cannot be exchanged through another token and display the similar thing, that you are the owner of, for example, this sword. Now this makes buying collectibles and swords and armor pieces and even land in metaverses way more attractive, because then you have real and true ownership over your land parcel in that specific metaverse, and you can even take it out, send it to a wallet, and then sell it on another marketplace that allows at least the underlying blockchain that you are transferring this item on. I am sure in the near future all those chains will be linked in such a way that you can sell everything everywhere which is minted on a specific blockchain. So let's talk a little bit about the dystopian fantasy or accusation that metaverses are planned to trap people inside of a matrix-like simulation. So that would basically turn us into batteries like in the movie Matrix within the metaverse, so that we are spending all our time there, we are not going out again, and that we are forever slaves to this world. But the question is this really so obvious, and is this really so true? Maybe some companies are planning that. It is more likely to offer you possibilities and you can exit it whenever you want. I don't want to discard the fact that this could be a danger, that we are going to live and work and do everything in the metaverse and never go outside anymore. But I think until someone really forces someone else into that system, this is highly unlikely. And by the way, we are being already forced into a system where we have to spend a lot of hours of our day to mostly doing useless stuff. I would claim most of the people at the moment are doing what they don't really like, and only a few people are working and having true fulfillment at their workplace. So if the metaverse can get you away from this, then it might be a good thing, because you could actually, just to contradict a dystopian fantasy, save time that you usually spend in transit in a huge city like they are in China or in Brazil, Sao Paulo. You could stay at home, you could work your hours in maybe a way more comfortable design where you can design your place and you can have more options to look at 3D objects and so on. And then you could just turn it off and go out, and you would have more time than you had before to enjoy the nature outside, to take a walk, to cook, and every other thing that a person really likes. So it could turn in either the direction of the dystopian, or it could make our lives better. Let's look quickly at some possibilities how the metaverse can make our lives better, and one I have already mentioned. Usually the claim is that the ongoing pandemic will force us to stay at home and to work in a metaverse space to be able to participate in such things. But I think the pandemic will eventually end and people will go out and enjoy life again. But the metaverse is just in the beginning of an evolution and could bring benefits to us. I have mentioned that we could overcome the effects of traffic jams and time loss in way too crowded cities, and maybe even that will have some environmental effects. But there are other positive effects that I could see here. One of those is the work of international teams. And international teams before the internet had no other way than call each other very expensively and then try to describe what they are seeing. Now they were able to have video chats, send pictures and videos around, send data sheets around. But a metaverse would bring international teams on a whole nother level, because then they could meet in a room, basically face to face, more than only on a video, and they could look together on 3D objects and see what the other one really means. Let's imagine that you are designing a turbine for an airplane, or you are looking at a brain as a surgeon, or you are looking at a DNA string as a scientist. You would be also able to save a lot of precious material by just forming and building first virtually together and then only printing it or building it into the first prototype. Another benefit that I could see with a metaverse with virtual reality and the immersion is that we could turn boring lessons in school into amazing stuff that children actually like and actually learn something for their lives. It would be suddenly possible to look at a shark in the water, which is not possible for children because they are usually not visible in a zoo. They cannot be brought into a classroom, and when you throw these children into the sea, that would be very dangerous. So this would be a perfect example where you could look at a shark that cannot harm you and you could just see how big it really is, how the colors are, how it moves, how it feeds. You could see that animated, and therefore in every part in history you can show things 3D. In sports lessons you can show something before you really do it, and that all would enable and give some extra stimulus to children. Now let's look at some of the metaverse projects only quickly and only superficial. There are a lot of videos about them out there, but at the moment these projects look like this, and this one here is Decentraland. And as you can see, Decentraland has already brands in there that are doing advertising, such as Samsung. There will be in the near future something like Walmart, and there are other brands going into these decentralized metaverses. The reason why they can is exactly because it's decentralized. Everyone can join. Imagine Walmart would start advertising and trying to build something in World of Warcraft. Blizzard and Activision would have never allowed that to happen. But here you cannot be excluded. On the other hand, there is, for example, the project Sandbox. It's currently, if I'm not mistaken, in the alpha stage, and it looks like this. And here we can see a base of Atari. So the brand Atari is present here in Sandbox, and there is a ton of other brands that would fit in a specific Sandbox or Decentraland video. But what I want to show you is these worlds look somewhat like a mixture of Minecraft and GTA. Way too pixeled for GTA, but a little bit better than the Minecraft cube that we really like. And I could imagine that there would be somewhat of a metaverse that is just like Minecraft. But what we really dream of and what we really want is that we can copy our avatars into a metaverse and then have adventurous experience, extended open worlds, high-end graphics, so that we really experience something new. Because this here and this experience on the screen is nothing more than computer games that we already had with the integration of NFTs and blockchains. So the real deal comes with virtual reality, augmented reality, and the immersion into those projects. Now there's also this project here, because Metaverse is not only about the world itself, but also how you get in. And I said we dream of getting our avatar in. So what this project Meta Hero has is they have built a room with, I think, 60 to 100 cameras, and they are scanning your body, how it is, what the clothes that you are using, and then form an avatar of you that gets minted and that is personalized to you. No one else can use it, and that you can take into the metaverse. So we see already that supply is built around the idea of metaverse with the technology, and yes, you can invest in those projects. I'm personally not invested in Meta Hero yet, but maybe I will be in the future. And just to be clear, there are many metaverse projects at the moment out there, and a lot of them aim only on making some money on the underlying blockchain, or to sell land and items and NFTs to you to then make a return, but then not further develop this metaverse idea. So it's very important that we find something that has some really heavy brands supporting the metaverse development to really have a good project. At least that is one fundamental that is very important to me, and that it has a very big user base. And the aforementioned Sandbox and Decentraland, they have that. But in my opinion, this is not going to be the metaverse that will prevail in the end. So it is important that if you're invested and if you have already made high profits, that you take some profits on the way and secure yourself in case that it dies off. Because at the moment, metaverses are comparable with games, and we all know that games have shorter life cycles than other products. Not all of them, as mentioned, World of Warcraft is around since a long time, and Second Life, somewhat the first appearance of a metaverse, is also around since a long time. Now, having talked about 3 metaverse related projects of the thousands that are out there, I want to present you a hidden gem in the somewhat space between blockchain, NFTs and metaverse that you might not be aware of yet. And this one is the Ecomi token with the Veve platform and the Veveverse. And what you see here from the Veveverse is basically everything that we know about the Veveverse until now. But before you turn off the video now, bear with me, because it will be very interesting. If you are not invested already and you are not knowing this all already, then stick with. The project until now has a collectible app store with millions of licensed collectibles, and I say licensed collectibles of big licensors and big brands. And we know NFTs usually looking like this here. This is from my OpenSea wallet, and it is some free stuff that I won, but it gives you an idea of what is out there as NFTs. Now, these NFTs are holding a ton of value, and they are also out there, and they are basically pictures of apes, and they have been an iconic thing. So their value, one picture, is around $200,000 or even more, and can reach into the millions. Now, on the Veve app, we have licensed collectibles, and these are not pictures. I will show it to you in a second. These are 3D collectibles that you can use on augmented reality, that you can display in showrooms, where you can move 3D from your smartphone through those rooms. From the developers of that app, we know that in the future there will be a Veveverse, which puts all these licensors and all these collectibles into a metaverse that is still to be developed. But we all know there are first movers, and some people have made tremendous amounts of money with Decentraland, with Sandbox and with others. but there are also always second movers that learn from the mistakes from the first ones, that wait out the increase of technology, and for example that goggles don't weigh half a kilo but are more like glasses, and that are working to bring out something truly appreciable. Now let's take a look at the license behind this project, and I would say Ecomi Veve, that is a NFT and Metaverse project with probably the most interesting licensors that are out there. And as you can see here, we have the initial licensors, which is Warner Brothers, Batman, for example, Jurassic Park is here, hasn't even dropped on the app. There is Superman, there is the world of DC, Wonder Woman, Star Trek, which we have only seen Enterprise and Borcube dropping now. There is Sony. There are many licenses, and there are also collectibles now from Disney, which have even come out as 3D statues linked to real life usability, because with every collectible you have received a free pass for Disney Plus for you at home to use. They have partnered with the United States Postal Service to bring out stamps, and already announced that they are going to bring out car collectibles for Citroën and already other car suppliers. So we have a ton of huge brands behind this project. There are also very convincing rumors that the Pokemon trading card license is held by one of the founders, which is David Yu. So I have talked about the 3D collectibles, and here is, for example, one photo made a few months ago with my older smartphone camera with this Batman collectible that I own. To give you more of an idea what these collectibles are capable of doing, we have an animated collectible, which is the Wonder Woman Ultimate Animated statue on augmented reality in the living room of someone. And this one is capable of really moving, has convincing moves and looks. And if you don't believe me, check Twitter, because Twitter is full of people that are building their showrooms with their 3D collectibles already. And there are currently 1.5 million active users on the app. With this massive growth and probably millions and millions of users coming to it in the next year, this is also a pretty insane number to bring into a metaverse from the start. So you wouldn't have to start out with a couple of thousand or 100,000s, but you would start out the Veveverse with millions of people. Which brings me to the end of my video, and as I mentioned, this is the NFT Metaverse gem that I wanted to present you. And lastly, we should look at the price. So the Ecomi token that powers all of this is currently sitting at 0.00681 euros. I think a little bit around $8. And if you want to stack those tokens now, this might be one of the last chances to get it under 1 cent, because in short, the token will have completed a migration to Immutable X, which then makes it Ethereum compatible and therefore easy for exchanges to list. Right now, you can get the token only on 4 different exchanges, which is Bitforex, OKX, Ascendex, and Gate.io. Once the migration is complete, and the set date for this is the 27th of January, there will be more and more exchanges and therefore more and more accessibility. So if you have a Gate.io account or one of the others, consider investing, but it's not financial advice. You do your own research, you make your own decisions, and then you can invest into this project if you feel that it is as good as I am telling you at the moment. But with that said, I'm already at the end of this Metaverse video, and I hope you liked the content. If so, let me know in the comments below what you think about all of this, if you are invested in one of these projects, and what do you think about the Ecomi and Veve and Veveverse interaction. Is it a thing or will it flop? So wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night or afternoon, and see you in the next video.